This is the opening remarks for Indigenous Curatorial Collective's 2022 hybrid gathering. The background is black, and from the right, white text flies out and centers. The text reads, Indigenous Curatorial Collective's 2022 hybrid gathering, framing responsibility, a gathering on accountability, opening remarks, and then the text disappears to the left.
Hello, I'm Marsha Ireland. I am an Indigenous deaf woman. I am a mother, a grandmother, a great-grandmother. I have gray, long hair, which is braided. I'm wearing beaded earrings and a beaded medallion around my neck that depicts a turtle. I am wearing a green shirt. I am from Oneida Nation of the Thames, Turtle Clan. I am here today to speak to you about accountability. And I'm going to share with you my story, a little bit of it, and understand that my life as an Indigenous deaf woman or person has been fraught with frustration. It wasn't until 1983 that I had interpreters, and it wasn't until 85 until closed caption on our televisions was widely distributed. And there have been many frustrations and struggles with communication and accessibility that have been long fought. I am a person who innately rolls up my sleeves and demands equality. I want people to see me, not just for myself, for our future generations, for the deaf children after me. Yonko.
Elder Marsha is now standing, and you can see the top of her green ribbon skirt. She begins doing a Thanksgiving address in the Oneida Sign Language, and her relative narrates it in the Oneida language.
Swadahosi ganjok. They do that nu hueladus. Jungwe suha kale kanika joko da. Dane tone and haget neo gotnigo. De yatino hueladu, yonkino ha jo honjad. Dane tone and haget neo gotnigo. De duano hueladu o neganos. Dane tone and haget neo gotnigo. De duano hueladu o negli suha kale o yonkwa unwe. Dane tone ondo haget neon guatnigo. Dedwat no hueladu, kahik suha kale awahi. Dane tone ondo haget neon guatnigo. Dedwano hueladu, John Hek. Dane tone ondo haget neon guatnigo. Dedwano hueladu, o nunkwa suha kale jitniga kwele deni. Dane tone ondo haget neon guatnigo. Dedwano hueladu, Galunde suha kale wat. Dane tone ondo haget neon guatnigo. Dedwano hueladu oji noa suha kale jonyo neclis. Dane tone ondo haget neon guatnigo. Dedwano hueladu gundilio suha kale oskanund. Dane tone ondo haget neon guatnigo. Dedwano hueladu ganja suha kale jigunses. Dane tone ondo haget neon guatnigo. Dedwano hueladu o jikaha suha kale adanyot. Dane tone ondo haget neon guatnigo. Dedwano hueladu o wela suha. Dane tone ondo haget neon guatnigo. De yetino hueladu yeti sutta ladisungayondes. Dane tone ondo haget neon guatnigo. De hetwano hueladu hetwat jia. Dode neha galak. Dane tone ondo haget neon guatnigo. De yetino hueladu yeti sota wasunde neha wa nidal. Dane tone ondo haget neon guatnigo. De yetino hueladu ojisto gua suha. Dane tone ondo haget neon guatnigo. De yetino hueladu gaye niongwe dak ladilong yage lon. Dane tone ondo haget neon guatnigo. De hetwano hueladu skanya dalio. Dane tone ondo haget neon guatnigo. De hetwano hueladu galong yage todlu sagwaya dizo. Dane tone ondo haget neon guatnigo. Daneto, Nagatkweni, Chitni Kaya, Kanahuela Duxla, Daneto.
I'm here today to speak to you about accountability, and I'm going to share some of my story with you. As I mentioned earlier, I'm an Indigenous deaf woman. I grew up in a world where interpreters, we didn't have access to them. We didn't have access to closed captioning. I grew up in a world that appeared to me that people who did hear had every opportunity afforded to them. It was very frustrating. I am a person who demanded equality. And this has been my moving goal that has pushed me forward, because I want us to have equality. I want us to understand when we come to the table that a person who is deaf does not mean that they can't write, they can't read, they can't do. A deaf person can do everything that anyone else can do, which brings to light the intersectionality. I am an Indigenous deaf woman. And so when I come to the table, I come with all of those things. And so when we're talking and we're having these conversations, it's important to know that the person that is sitting across from you, engaged in these conversations, understand that they come with a lifetime of experience, oppression, frustration, joy. We know that our elders and our knowledge keepers have that accountability to ensure that our traditions and our stories and our medicines are shared. But what I see as a gap is that our deaf and our Indigenous deaf peoples are not brought into this circle. And it's important to keep in mind that it's not about competition. It's not about being better than, not supporting that lateral violence. Being a leader is being accountable to your people, accountable to the movement that will support and lift your people higher. To learn how to heal, to learn our medicines. And for our Indigenous deaf people, it's important for them to have an understanding of these things and ultimately our culture. As a mother, I am the role model for my deaf children. It's important for me to share my story, to share my frustration, to share all of the experiences that are a part of who I am, so that my children have a better future. I don't know that they understand in the same way, but I appreciate that this is what we come to the table with. I appreciate all of you for being here and for taking that part of accountability. Yonko.
The opening remarks is now ended. The screen is black again, and from the top, ICCA's logo flies down and centers. The logo is the letters ICCA written vertically in pink. They then disappear to the bottom.